After Alpine announced that Oscar Piastri would race for the team in 2023, the driver quickly issued a statement denying any such agreement, sparking a wave of controversy that has yet to be resolved. The F1 world is now watching as the two parties are at a stalemate, but some very exciting changes have occurred in recent days. In the midst of it all are accusations of betrayal and a very capable young driver who has garnered more attention than anyone else on the grid despite not having an F1 drive yet. So buckle up as we delve deeper into 2022's most intriguing story. Following the announcement that Fernando Alonso will join Aston Martin in 2023, Alpine issued a statement announcing Piastri's partnership with Esteban Ocon for the next season. Interestingly enough, the announcement contained no quotes from Piastri, something that has become customary for teams to include when posting such news to the media. Shortly after, Piastri, who is currently the team's reserve driver, denied that he will race for the Instone team in 2023. Other teams were known to be interested in Piastri. He was previously linked with a loan move to Williams, but he was most recently linked with a potential move to McLaren. In November 2021, Piastri signed a contract with Alpine that included a clause outlining the team's obligations to Piastri. These responsibilities included giving Piastri a certain number of test kilometers in an F1 car, paying his expenses, and making him Alpine's reserve driver in 2022. If Alpine met these obligations, the team had the option of putting Piastri in a race seat for 2023. This contract, however, was between Piastri and Alpine's driver academy, not the F1 team. As a result, because it was not a Formula One contract, it was never registered with Formula One's Contract Recognition Board. And when McLaren filed their contract with Piastri with the governing body after signing the Australian, neither Alpine nor McLaren were notified of any conflict. Though McLaren currently has Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo under contract for the next year, there have been reports that Ricciardo will be released. Negotiations over the terms of such a split are currently underway, but it is understood that Ricciardo's camp is seeking financial compensation in the region of $21 million. This means that Alpine's only option is to pursue the matter in civil court. Alpine's parent company, Renault Group, is registered in France, but the Alpine F1 team is based in England, so it is unclear which jurisdiction would prevail. If Alpine decides to take the matter to court, it is understood that the team would primarily seek monetary compensation for losing Piastri rather than a ruling requiring the Australian to drive for Alpine in 2023. Alpine is clearly not very happy with how things turned out, least of all team principal Otmar Szafnauer, who expressed his disappointment with Oscar Piastri's lack of loyalty in a recent interview. I expected more loyalty from Piastri. He should have it with the team that has taken care of him, that has taken him to the World Championship, and, above all, that during the last year has put him in a Formula One car so that he would be ready, so that he would know the circuits. I expected more loyalty from Oscar than he is showing. I started in 1989 in Formula One, and I've never seen anything like this. And it is not about Formula One, it's about integrity as a human being. It could happen in ice hockey or soccer, it doesn't matter, but you don't do that. He signed a piece of paper, a document saying he would do something different. For me, the way I grew up, I don't need to sign a piece of paper and then have someone say, "You're lying because you signed this." For me, if you say, "Hey, help me, I'll help you tomorrow," there's no way I would go back on my word. No way. You did everything I asked you to do, and now I promise that if you do this, I'll do this. I don't need a piece of paper where it says, with a clause, I can get out of here. Despite the dramatic turn of events surrounding Piastri's situation, Szafnauer is not worried about filling the seat at Alpine if the Australian is unable to race for the team, and still believes Piastri will have to drive for the team nevertheless. If Piastri is not in the car, which I think he's going to be, because Fernando is out, I have about 14 calls from drivers who are interested, because the Alpine seat is the most valuable seat left. The most likely candidate for Alpine's unconfirmed seat is Piastri's fellow countryman Daniel Ricciardo, who Piastri is expected to replace at McLaren. Ricciardo drove for the team, formerly known as Renault, for 2 seasons beginning in 2019, where he rediscovered his Red Bull form and earned a move to McLaren, but has since struggled. Even in light of Piastri's claims, Alpine is adamant that their current reserve driver has an obligation to drive for them next season, but if that does not work out, the French team is not ruling out Ricciardo. Another unexpected candidate is Frenchman Pierre Gasly. Despite the fact that his contract with AlphaTauri has been extended until at least the end of 2023, there are reports that Gasly's contract includes exit clause that allows him to join another team. The only requirement is that the team finish higher in the constructor standings than AlphaTauri. And given that Alpine is significantly higher in the constructor standings than AlphaTauri, Gasly's alleged exit clause would open the door for these negotiations. Gasly has been rumored to be leaving AlphaTauri for several seasons. Red Bull is unlikely to promote him back to their team, so he may be looking for other opportunities. This year's exceptionally silly season may provide him with the opportunity he's been looking for to step out from under the Red Bull umbrella. One name that has been notable only by its absence in the midst of the whole controversy is Esteban Ocon, who was committed to the Instone team until the end of 2024, thanks to a contract signed in June of last year. That's an appealing position for the 25-year-old because it puts him in charge of the team. Of course, not officially, but through a combination of incumbency and being paired with a yet-to-be-determined teammate who will begin the year as the de facto number 2. Even if it's Daniel Ricciardo, who outperformed Ocon during their season together at Renault in 2020, he'll come with something to prove after 2 disappointing years at McLaren. That would be the polar opposite of the dynamic that existed between Ocon and Ricciardo last time out. This will be Ocon's first time in this position. Following his first half season in F1 with Manor in 2016, he spent 2 years at Racing Point alongside the more experienced Sergio Perez. Following his season as a Mercedes reserve driver, he joined Renault 1 year after Ricciardo. Even though Ocon provided continuity in 2021, the arrival of big-name Fernando Alonso blocked his path to the leadership role once more. Ocon would be in the clear next year, barring another driver market shock. Team leadership is an ephemeral concept that is rarely codified in contracts. However, it is a status that is earned through hard work. The higher performing driver will always be more influential, as it is only natural to be guided by the strongest. That is the opportunity that Ocon will have in 2023. And when asked about Ocon's qualifications to lead the team, Otmar Szafnauer backed him up. He did, however, point out one area where Ocon could improve. Esteban is a super talent. I worked with him at Force India in the days of Sergio Perez as his teammate. He was as quick as Sergio and raced Sergio hard. They were always together on the grid, and sometimes they even came together in the races. And we've seen what Esteban is capable of with Fernando too. Although Fernando's got the skill and the talent to get a lap out of the car very quickly. He needs 3 or 4 laps and he's at 99.9%. That extra 0.1% comes with a few laps more, whereas Esteban takes a little bit more time to get the maximum out of the car. But ultimately, on Saturday and then Sunday, he's there. So he needs to learn a little bit to get there a bit faster, but we're working with him on that. And thereafter, can he lead the team? For sure, he's getting better and better. He's got a race win under his belt. He's got, for whatever reason, some of which is luck and reliability, but he scored good points for us this year. And he'll learn more by the time we get to next year. But Ocon isn't the only party with something to prove. Alpine as a whole does. As you are all aware, F1 legend Fernando Alonso turned down the opportunity to extend his stay at Alpine in favor of joining Aston Martin. Alpine currently sits in 4th place in the World Championship with 99 points, compared to Aston Martin's 20 points in 9th place. Then there's McLaren, Alpine's main rival. The Woking team only 4 points behind in the constructor standings. There. The situation's more complicated. And it's shaping up to be one of the more intense rivalries of the 2022 season, not only because of the prize money at stake, but also because the faster team may be more appealing to Oscar Piastri, whether in short or long term. So that's where we are right now. Alpine are unlikely to keep Oscar Piastri, but they have a great talent and potential leader in Esteban Ocon. Couple that with a highly sought after seat, giving them plenty of options, and their situation doesn't seem so dire after all. Don't get us wrong, it's far from perfect, but it's a start. So what are your thoughts? Who will join Ocon and Alpine in 2023? Do you believe Piastri made the wrong decision or was disloyal, as Szafnauer so empathetically declared? Let us know in the comments section down below. And if you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. It helps us out a lot.